So the demo for Mr.sleepyman came out today, and I didn't really know what to expect going in, other than thinking, okay, it's a 3D platformer of some description, it's probably gonna have some Mario-isms here or there, but otherwise, didn't know what I was getting into when I turned the game on. Similarly to my Silksong video, this is more of a first impressions than a proper review of what I've seen so far. I know nothing about this other than I wishlisted it on Steam not that long ago, and really wanted to know what it was going to look like going forward. So in that vein, if anything I say sounds like some kind of sentiment being echoed across the internet or lack thereof, keep in mind these are just purely my impressions going off of nothing other than what I've played in the maybe 20 minutes I messed around with the game. But going into it, I noticed right away that they had the goodness in their heart to include both a story-focused mode and a gameplay-focused mode, if you don't want all the necessary context, if you can really call it that. There's definitely a lot of charm to be had in it. The art style is appealing, there's a lot to take in as you're looking about the place. The writing is really funny, even if there really wasn't that many jokes for me to dig into and slap my knee wheezing uncontrollably, but what I did see, I was smiling and chuckling here and there at some of the gags the game was throwing at me, so that was good. Aside from that, movement felt very nice, like any typical platformer you've played before, but not one-to-one with anything. Sure, there will be natural things that'll feel familiar to you if you've played a lot of platformers, but obviously they won't be one-to-one. You can't necessarily forward long jump the same way you could in Mario 64, but there is something there similarly, as there is a glide ability that you can get fairly early on that you can use to launch yourself with a bunch of forward momentum. You have stamina wheels, so you can't just spam everything. It's a solid put-together experience. I do wish, though, from what I play, there was something akin to like a timer system in the level, like Majora's Mask. I was thinking it would be something like Pizza Time, where once you ran out of time, you had to quickly hurry and find your goal while a thing chased you, but turns out I was very much wrong. It's like Majora's Mask, and as soon as that timer runs up, it's over. So, you had about 8 to 10 minutes running around this giant level. There's not enough time to do everything. Your first time just fumbling around with the controller. Maybe if you really cracked everything to a science, you could do that. But from what I experienced, there was just no way to do anywhere close to all the challenges with the limit they give you. And, for the sake of the time limit, I would think that's fine if you want people to do multiple runs, so maybe, when I play the full thing, it'll make a bit more sense, but it was definitely a layer of complexity to it that had me kind of thinking for a moment, like, okay, it's got this timer, I've got these objectives that are sprinkled all throughout the level. How can I go about doing that effectively? And that feels really good. The camera, I'm kind of back and forth on. There are some moments when I liked it and other moments when I can't. Most notably at the start of the game when you're in a very tight room, kind of getting your bearings of the controls. You clearly only see what you really need to see, but then when you finally have it, it moves a little too slow right away, but fortunately you can fix that in the camera controls. But there's this somewhat familiar feeling of the camera control being taken away from you at intervals, that it's like, okay, I get it, I see what they're doing, I don't hate it, I definitely do not hate it, but it's something I need to get used to, because I haven't felt like that in a long time. When playing the story-focused mode, I do wish during the cutscene segments or talking to NPCs, you could kind of like mash the A button to go through the text and read faster than listen to the dialogue. As nice as the dialogue is, and as funny as it can be, there were moments where I'm like, okay, come on, I want to enjoy this, but I want to go at a nicer pace than sit there and painstakingly watch everything fly up on the screen and then get spoken out to me. That's like, I can't be one of those guys that sits there and lets the game talk for me. Meanwhile, as soon as you open up into the main level that the demo focuses on, like, the hand-holding is virtually gone. Like, if you're playing in the story mode, characters will guide you to do certain things if you choose to interact with them, but otherwise, you're kind of left in the dark as to what to do, and I very much get the impression that that's by design, which, there's nothing wrong with it, and the timer, I think, adds a layer to that it's like, okay, as I explore this, I'll get better, though I just do wish, for the sake of a demo, it could be streamlined just a little more, but maybe that's something in the full game that will be sorted out immediately, because I absolutely see this as each level is a different dream type of thing that'll have its own timer with its own set of rules and challenges, and you can go back and forth between them and revisit them and yada yada yada, and that sounds like a good time, honestly. I do not fault that idea at all. For the most part, the platforming feels good, but how certain puzzles are presented are just where I soured a little bit during the experience. Because one of the challenges, you go into a grocery store and you just need to commit a felony. So you can steal the cash register, bring it outside, and then from then on, anytime you enter that grocery store, the clerk will try to run after you and grab you out of the store, which, you know, if you're familiar with the controls and how the movement works, you know, you can bob and weave and shoehorn around him all day long and never get caught, but just trying to grasp the concept first, there were definitely collectibles in there that I couldn't reach because as I was still getting my bearings and learning what did what, you know, I would often just find myself getting grabbed and thrown out of there before I could really explore, which it's like, okay, maybe that's just a growing pain of me, but we'll see. I didn't necessarily feel like I got to explore the level to the fullest my first run-through, because I ended up running out of time, as I was finally then moving away from the grocery store, as I was taking my time talking to the NPCs, and just kind of pressing buttons, seeing how movement felt, grabbing little collectibles here and there. I don't know if it was just me, I swear I felt like I had pressed every button on the controller, only to learn my second time playing I actually have a bit of a melee attack where I swing around a pillow, but you know, I also learned the objective of the demo was, you know, find the pillow somewhere in the level, and either before or after, maybe it was just locked and I didn't notice right away. That's like, oh hey, I have a melee attack. That's very nice. Because that seemed like something I would have naturally, but my first time, you know, running around, that didn't click right away, for whatever reason, and I feel really silly having to say it that way. As I started to explore the rest of the level is when things, you know, we're starting to get a little smoother, but at the same time, you know, with that time limit running down, I didn't get to explore that long before the moon woke up, crashed down on the planet, and, you know, I had to start over from there, which I'm like, okay, well I got the story, now I'll do the not story mode, and just kind of run around and have fun. And from what little I've seen in the trailer, and it really does look like there's going to be more here than what's present, of course. You know, game's in active development, and I'm just rambling, but I'm very curious to see where this goes, despite the platforming and puzzle solving being where I'm kind of like, I need to see a bit more before I'm engrossed in this, but I'm definitely intrigued. Like, I do intend to buy this, you know, when it comes out, but, you know, that's all with the asterisk of this game doesn't come out as a glitchy mess, but I got a bit more faith in the developer than that. Something else in here, what did win me over 100%, in fact, was a music stage that you can do optionally, both after you finish playing your initial run through the level or just straight from the main menu. The Lost into Dreams stage that is presented to you in this demo is a lot to take in as it's sensory overload, just dialing platforming and rhythm game segments all together at once cranked to 11, and I absolutely enjoyed that. The sound design is definitely where I'm the most confident in this game, as even, you know, the little bop that plays in the game's own trailer, it's like, okay, I see what they're going for here. And then just being thrusted into a full interactive music video by the end of it, I'm sitting there with just a big smile on my face the whole time I'm going through, just like, oh, this makes me happy. I like this a lot. One second you're rummaging around trying to get music notes that are falling behind you while your character is running forwards, and then another time you're playing like a little Guitar Hero portion, and then another you're doing a little platforming segment while your screen is like broken into different screens and it's all just moving at once, and it's like, wow, this is way more impressive than the platforming in my opinion, but that's just me, I know what I like, and that the whole sequence just put a smile on my face. Like, I very much hope there's more of this in the full release. I'm gonna wrap it up there, but yeah, Mr. Sleepyman, that was a bit of a journey, as I'm sure you could see from some of this footage. Definitely looking forward to it, and I really hope there is more of the music stage that was presented in the demo, because that was just the highlight across the board. But thank you so much for watching if you tuned in and stayed this far into the video, and you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.